Today on Cooking with the Lion, we're making a crisp, refreshing salad that comes together in a snap. And it's all happening right now. Let's get started. Thinking back on my lifetime of delicious salads, it usually comes back to the dressing before the ingredients. So let's start with the dressing, shall we? We want something that's going to be acidic and maybe a little bit fruity. So that's why we're starting with a bit of freshly squeezed orange juice. Don't get that old stuff that you get in the grocery store. Freshly squeezed will always reign supreme. And how about a little bit of rice wine vinegar, seasoned rice wine vinegar. And this brings some zip to it, some complexity, but also brightens the whole thing up. Now, I have some acidity, but let's make some heat, shall we? Let's bring a little bit of fire to it. Not flame like, say, a ghost chili pepper, but something a little more tame than that. We have freshly grated black pepper, that's heat. We also have some freshly zested ginger and garlic, and that all goes in. There we are. So already we have a lot of complexity going on. How about some sweetness, shall we? Because I think salad dressings need to be well balanced. So I'm gonna add not just sugar, I'm gonna add honey. It's almost like when you have a spoonful of sugar, that's fine because it's sweet, but a spoonful of honey brings a little bit of, flavor to the whole thing, right? Then some salt, but not just regular kosher salt. I'm bringing more flavor, but yes, we do have some sodium, and that's where some soy sauce comes into play. So I'm adding the soy sauce instead of just adding salt. So again, something a little more complex, something to play with because we're having fun. Then sesame oil, again, complexity, not just regular oil. Not too much, because sesame oil has a tendency to be a little overbearing. We want it to whisper the salad in our ears. But we do need a little bit more oil, so I'm adding a little bit of a neutral oil, and that's grapeseed oil. Because you do want all of the fat and the flavors to coat everything evenly. And just give this a little bit of a whisk to incorporate. Enough for the honey to disperse into the solution. And this is a very light dressing. It's not like a mayonnaise gloppy dressing. It doesn't have to be, because we don't want to weigh the ingredients down because they're so darn fresh. How fresh? Well, look at this purple cabbage, very thinly sliced. This goes in first, and it stays crisp for such a long time. What else goes in? Well, we have very thinly sliced kale, okay? That goes in. Already, the colors of the purple and the green, just beautiful. Let's have another color. How about orange? A little bit of fresh carrot. What I did is I sliced them, and as I slice them, I kind of roll the carrot so you get these funky textures going on instead of just the tiny little thin slices. What about cucumber? Thinly sliced. Cut it in half and thinly sliced. That goes in. All right. Some celery. Just another texture, a little bit of crunch in there. And then some cilantro, not too much. I just want a little bit of herbaceousness, something that kind of says, yeah, this is kind of nice over here. It just rounds the whole thing out. Now let's talk about crunch, shall we? We have 3 different things to offer for crunch. I have toasted, salted sunflower seeds. They go in. I also have toasted white sesame seeds, because that just brings like this sort of like a meatiness, almost like a butteriness that the other nuts don't have on offer. And then good old fashioned, maybe get some from Virginia, roasted salted peanuts, roughly chopped, and they go in, okay? It's an elegant salad, but it's also a dump and stir. I'm not reinventing the wheel, but I am really making something that's substantial and worthy of our dinners or lunches or brunches for that matter. And a little bit of fat. I'm not adding cheese, but I do need a little bit of fat in there, and that's where some of that fresh avocado comes into play. All right? So I'm gonna go ahead and stir this whole thing up, and then I'll clean up, and then believe it or not, it's already ready to serve. Make sure everything is evenly coated. And if you want to make this ahead of time, you can totally do that. You would just wrap the whole thing up, put it in the fridge, and then toss it like this just before you were ready to serve. So it makes things so easy to do in advance. And already, just those colors, so vibrant. And that looks pretty well mixed, okay? All mixed up. I'm gonna clean everything up and then it's time to serve. There we are. It's one of these salads where you just look at it, all the different colors, just so bright and beautiful. It smells spectacular as well. That looks like a healthy salad. Healthy serving as well. You just dig in. You just go for it, guys. You want a little bit of everything. This is a salad that takes very little time, but the output, what you're rewarded with, is incredible. You have, first that heat from the ginger and the garlic just like sneaks in there. You're like, come on in. But then you have the acid that just keeps it bright. It keeps it elevated. You have the fresh orange juice and you have the rice wine vinegar that just keeps everything nice and high, but the crunch, there's so much texture going on here. Those roasted peanuts, and then the kale, yeah, I mean, it's kale. Am I over it? I'm not. When you thinly slice kale, it's a different animal altogether. So we have the thinly sliced kale, and then you have, of course, that bright, super great crunch from the purple cabbage. You just look at it, and you just keep going. If you have a little grilled chicken, go over top, great. A little bit of steak, great. But to be honest with you, with a payoff like this, it really doesn't need it. There's so much going on. You have that fat from the avocado. It sounds like I'm excited. I am very excited because I make this salad every once in a while because everything I need is usually in there and it comes together like a snap. If you're not a salad person, give this a try because the amount of effort is this, but the payoff is out of this world. Cheers.